Hello everyone and welcome back to the WBA Canada YouTube channel. Today I'm happy to announce a brand new series called WBA Canada's 11 Questions, where I'll be asking content creators and fans my 11 questions about the club we love. Today I'm joined by Adam and Dan, aka the Baggie Brothers. Without a further ado, let's get into it today. You all good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, doing very well, thank you.
Was it difficult coming up with the answers for these questions?
Some of them, I messaged Dad on a couple, and there's a few that were a bit, but
some came really easily. Others were, very tricky.
As I was
very tricky
messaging
to be
you
the winner
guys,
for.
this is a little bit of payback because you guys have put me through the ringer once for my best 11, so now you guys are going to be put through the ringer here. All right, so we'll start at the very beginning, guys. How did you guys become West Brom fans?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go on. You can go. You can spend this one.
I think
I'm guessing it's the same answer.
Yeah, it's basically the same answer, isn't it? I think basically our family have supported them for generations, so we didn't really have an option. We had to support West Brom. So growing up, it was basically support West Brom, or suffer the wrath.
Yeah, pretty much. Our granddad and our, I guess, great auntie Wendy.
Yeah,
she's they both used to go to games a lot, and then obviously our dad and his cousin, our uncle Harvey, went to games a lot. So then we just ended up following the family pattern and just started going to games, and that's how you get into it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, it kind of feels the same way. That's sort of the similar way how it worked out here. Other than the fact I'm in Canada, my mom grew up in West Bromwich, and it was pretty much the same thing. You cheer for the team that you're raised to cheer for. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. A bit different in North America because we have so many sports teams over here that sometimes you walk down the streets, particularly in like NHL and NBA, you see people wearing like Warriors jerseys or like Lakers or Chicago Blackhawks or whatever team it is, and whoever would be like a good team. But it's a lot different, and I love that because I don't want to just cheer for like Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea.
That'd be boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely winning all the time has to be boring.
I suppose we kind of have a similar thing for every other sport bar football. I think it's kind of okay to support whoever. Like with rugby, I know, is it Leicester Tigers you sort of follow?
Leicester Tigers, yeah.
And you can kind of, and say like as well with, I'll follow sort of European football teams and be like, I quite like watching Borussia Dortmund matches or whatever, but the team I support is West Bromwich Albion. Yeah. There's no there's no other jerseys in my wardrobe. They are West Brom tops, and that is it.
Yeah. Too many of them I've got as well.
I know.
All right, boys.
Getting them from other sports is fine, but there we go.
Yeah. So, do you guys remember one of the first games you watched, or what your first memory of watching a game was?
Now, I've got two for this one because there's one that I think I remember, and there's one that I know I remember. The first game I think I went to was Barnsley at home in 1997. I think it was that game. I have vague memories that we went to go and watch that game. I don't think we won. But a game I know that I was at, a game I know that I went to was us against Bristol City in 2007, and we won 4-1.
Yeah.
So I know that's 10 years between that, but we weren't living in the area at that time, so we didn't really go and see them much. But yeah, that was that's the game I know I saw first.
So my first game I went to was Sunderland at home in 1994. I was only 6, so I don't remember much from the game. I remember there being a really good goal, and I've actually Googled it since, and it was about 35 yards out. It's on YouTube. It was a goal from Graham Fenton. We had him on loan from Villa, and it was about 35 yards out, and he just pinged it in, and it was some goal. That's the first game I went to, and that I kind of have a memory of. So
excellent, yeah. I feel like that for me was when I really got hooked on watching it because I'd watched the team before. I definitely have memories, but we went to England in 2011 and we went to go see them at Norwich because we couldn't see them at the Hawthorns because they were on a big run of away games. And to be able to be around those fans and, you know, you're not the only people cheering and people are jumping up and down, you're singing the songs. It really hooks you in, right? And that was really how I started to support the club.
And here you go, Baden. I've got something else for you as well. I've even got the match day program from that day.
Excellent. There you go.
Have you ever seen that player?
I have not. Who is that?
He's called Daryl Burgess. He was a right back. Daryl Burgess, right back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's before my time, guys.
That is way, to be fair, it's way before your time, mate.
Before my time, to be honest with you. I don't remember that era. I don't remember that era of football.
Yeah, if I knew this was a program party, I would have brought out my first program, but we'll move on.
It's only because in our video you showed us all your kits.
Yeah,
something to show you back.
I better get some programs.
Excellent. All right, guys, this is maybe the most difficult question I'll ask you. Who's your favorite West Brom player of all time?
I'll let you go first, Dads.
So for me, it was really hard between two players because they had the most impact on me when I was younger. It was Andy Hunt and Bob Taylor. So for those that don't know, there were two strikers that worked really, really well together. And basically my first ever memory, which I've brought up in a few of the videos, is that I went with Dad to the club shop, which wasn't part of the ground. When you've probably been, it's always been on the ground. But before that was built, there was a little club shop down the road. And I was there with Dad getting, I don't know what I was getting. We were picking up some stuff, some shirts probably. And we went outside and the team bus just got back from training and they were dropping all the players back at the ground. And Andy Hunt saw me and I saw him and I just looked at Dad and went, it's Andy Hunt, it's Andy Hunt. And so I walked over to him and said, oh my God, Andy Hunt. And he just shook my head and kind of like, yeah, come on, rascal, let me sign something, hello, and all this sort of stuff. And it just, that's why he's my favourite player, Andy Hunt and Bob Taylor, because I loved him, but I couldn't pick between the two. So sorry, but there's two best players for me.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I've gone for a slightly more modern pairing, but again, it's a really hard pick between. It's hard to choose between Chris Brunt and Gareth McAuley. Chris Brunt obviously is such a huge club legend. One of the best players we've had, and in recent years, I would contend to say the best player we've had. Especially, considering obviously his longevity at the club and just how good a player he was.
Yeah.
And Gareth McAuley, Gareth McAuley is because we play six-a-side football over here. I'm a centre back. I like to think I've modelled a lot of my playing style on him by hoofing the ball as far away from me as possible and just being annoying to people and tackling them. But if I really had to pick one of them, I'd feel like I'd have to go for Chris Brunt. I'm left-footed. If you're left-footed, you've got to have a left-footed idol. It's him.
Yeah. And I'd say, as you guys both know, we love Chris Brunt over on this channel.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
If you haven't noticed, there's 11 questions that you had to answer here, and that was not by accident. The Baggie Bro, there he is.
11.
Yeah.
Got the 11.
Chris Brunt, I mean, we love him.
We do. We all love him.
He's the guy.
All right, switching gears slightly. What about managers? Who's your favorite manager that we've had?
Go on, Dan, you go first.
That's been a bit of a harder one. I was a big fan of Slaven Bilic. I thought he did a great job with us. Obviously, got us back in the Prem. To be fair, I liked him when he was at West Ham. I thought he did a really good job there as well. And when he came to us, it was like, great, we've actually got a really good manager. And also, obviously, someone like Big Dave, you can't not love Darren Moore, ex-player, ex-coach, manager. And, great player. Thought, again, he did a fantastic job with us. But I've gone for Roy Hodgson. I know we didn't have Roy Hodgson for very long. I think each of these managers, I don't think we really had we'd have them maybe all for just over a year. But obviously, Hodgson, he was, we had him in the Prem. We had him in our second season in the Prem. I think without him, taken us over when we had our biggest spell, our 8-year spell. He was in the second year. Without him helping, I don't think we would have had those 8 years. I think he was a major catalyst in keeping us in the Premier League, especially for a year. He was the reason the likes of Ben Foster and Gareth McCauley ended up at the club. He was in charge when we had that 5-1 win over Wolves. I'd have to go for Roy Hodgson.
Solid choice, mate.
It is a solid choice right there.
So for me, again, I loved Bilic. I thought he was great. Great personality, great to have around the club. Again, Big Dave, another honourable mention, former player. Loved him. Felt it was a bit of a shame when he left. But for me, in terms of what the football I liked watching, Tony Mowbray for me, I thought the way that we played football under Tony Mowbray, I thought we just played some brilliant football under him. So that's why I've gone for him out of all of them. But yeah, like Roy Hodgson, another one that we liked. We obviously had Pulis in between. It was a bit of
Brian Robson was
he was another choice, obviously for the Great Escape. But for me, Tony Mowbray, I thought the way we played football, that's why
I was totally worried when you said Tony there for a minute. I thought I was about to scold you.
I like boring football.
Yeah, I just like Route 1
you know
football.
What? Considering it wasn't particularly exciting time to watch him, I thought he still did a pretty decent job with us. So, you can't be mad at him. He kept us in the Prem for a while. So, but it was just fucking boring, wasn't it?
I was worried when you said, I just based on the way we played, Tony. I was like, oh no, he hasn't just said that.
No, Mowbray, for everyone that didn't hear that, Mowbray.
Yep. And for me, I think Roy, once again. I heard actually a funny story about Roy Hodgson. My aunt was in Florida. Once he had gotten the England job, that was around the time they were in Florida. And she ran into him at a shopping mall there. And
wow.
Because he was trying to find somewhere, because the World Cup was going to be in Brazil, they wanted to find somewhere that would be a hot climate to practice, because you can't practice for the climate in England.
No.
So they chose Brazil. She ran into him in a shopping mall. It's just another crazy story from West Brom. And of course, being from Canada, he probably hadn't even thought there would be fans over there. You know what I mean? So.
No.
All right. So the next question for you guys. Let's talk kits for a minute. What's your favorite kit? We'll go home and away. What's your favorite kit, guys?
So my favorite home kit was the 2016 Adidas with the light blue stripes around the collar. I really like that kit. It was just it was like, Adidas, we've made it. Kind of thing. Growing up with like Gilbert and all the other dross that we've had, Diodora and all the other stuff. So yeah. No, Adidas, that home 2016 kit. Yeah, it was good. And then my favourite away one was the 1995 to 97 kit. The Baggies Vault have actually just released it again on their website. It's like a yellow with a really light blue sleeves. I lived in that top when I was younger. So yeah, that's why it's a bit of a favourite for me.
Yeah, those are two good picks.
Yeah. For the home kit, I actually went for our first West Brom kit, which was the 97-98 one, and it was. I mean, it's not the most attractive kit, but because it's got this huge like West Bromwich Building Society logo on it, sponsored by Patrick. Yeah, huge. But for me, that holds like a nostalgia more than anything. It's not the best kit we've had, but I think it's my favorite because it was kind of my first kit. And there's a picture of me and Adam that was our picture. I still don't know at all why this happened, but we got in the local newspaper with both of us wearing our West Brom kits, standing in front of our tiny goal in the garden. And do you remember why?
No.
Why did that happen? I haven't got a clue.
We
were in the local paper wearing West Brom kits. and I think Mum's still got the picture up somewhere.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that would be my favourite home kit. And then the away kit, kind of gone a bit controversial. I haven't gone for the green and yellow. It's actually the red away kit that we had in the 15-16 kit. Mainly, I think it was because it was just the first away kit I ever bought. Again, it's not the best one I think we've had, but it's my favourite one because it was the first one that I bought, and it's, it just
Black
cool.
pinstripes. Is that the one?
Yeah, it got very, 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 very black pinstripes, nice thin.
Yeah, that
cool.
one's
I liked it.
clean, and it said WBA and not the badge, which is also another thing that was kind of nice.
Well,
yeah, that was a good one too.
I had that on it.
Yeah.
Anything that's got that on it's going to win for me.
Yeah, those are nice. I love those late 70s kits. You can just picture Cyril Regis and all that clan.
All the boys.
All the winners that I've never seen play live. Okay, guys, so we've talked about the best shirts. Now, what's your least favorite shirts that we've worn?
Do you want me to
I think my least favorite home shirt was the first year we were sponsored by Ideal Boilers, mainly because seeing that just massive logo on the front, like I didn't mind the stripes, I didn't mind the general look of it, but just that massive logo made me just think, who are Ideal Boilers? Like, you look at other Premier League teams and they've got such cool sponsors, and we're sponsored by a boiler team. Is that it? And then obviously we got the boiler guy, who I've grown to, I'm fine with him now. I don't really mind him being there, but that first year for home kit was gross. And then I can't remember the year, but there was a year where we just had an all yellow away kit. It might have been 04, 05 or somewhere around then. It was just an all yellow kit. Just didn't look very good. Didn't look particularly stylish or whatever, but yeah, those two.
All right.
So my worst home kit was it was the 2010-2011 home kit. I had a big house on the front.
Oh,
I just thought I just thought we looked like a removal company.
Yes.
It was awful. It's like, come on, we can play a game of footy and then we'll move your house for you. So yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of that one. And then the away one, kindly, Baden is showing it off for us in this video. I'm really sorry, but the only reason I've said I don't like this shirt is because it reminds me of Coventry City, and they're really close. They're close to us, which kind of makes them a little bit more of a rival for us.
Yeah, Sky Blue's a bit of a funny one for us, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, that top that you're wearing, if you mention that to like my granddad or my aunt, they'd just be like, ugh, it's Coventry, don't wear that. So yeah, that's the only reason. But it's nice, but yeah.
But it looks good on you, though.
It looks
Baden,
good,
so it's all right. It looks good on you, mate.
I'm actually shocked by you guys, to be honest, because like the red and yellow this year, personally, I don't get it. It looks like a McDonald's top.
Oh,
I was surprised that you guys didn't get in there.
Kit.
I
would have picked it, but that's our third kit. So I was going strictly home and away. I wasn't going for any third kits.
Okay.
So there's been some third choice kits that I absolutely despise.
Yeah, they look like McDonald's workers when they wear that one. I wasn't well. Traditionally, the last couple years we've had some belter bad third kits. Like even that purple disaster we had last year. That was terrible. All right, boys. So I know that you've seen them live. So where's the farthest you guys have seen them play?
So for me,
does it count if I don't?
Go on, Dan.
You know yours. Mine would be because obviously we're from the area, but I haven't always lived in that area. I used to live near London, and when I went to go and see us play Leicester, so technically I've travelled about 2.5 hours to go and see them, but I feel like that doesn't really count because going West Bromwich to Leicester's like 45 minutes. But yeah, I've not particularly travelled that far to go and see them. I haven't been to many away games, really.
The furthest I've been, and it's kind of a cheap one, our nan and granddad lived down in Cornwall, which is about 4.5 hours away. And so we kind of tied in a trip to Plymouth. So we drove down to Plymouth, which is about 4.5 hours away, for a pre-season friendly. It was the most boring game of football ever. It was a 0-0. But the highlight of that, we had a keeper
against Plymouth as well.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the year. It was some years ago. We had Russell Holt in goal, and the warm up. There was a backup goalie called Joe Murphy, and he was warming Russell up by just pinging these shots in. And one of them, he slightly skewed, and it missed the goal by an absolute mile and hit this poor woman in the face. And that was probably the highlight of the whole game. So he came up and apologised and gave a shirt to her and made sure she was okay, and she was. But yeah, that was quite amusing. But yeah, no,
worth the 4.5 travel just to see someone get smacked in the face with a ball.
Guys, I won't say it, but 4.5 hours is cute compared to.
Look, the thing is, I feel like you put that question in, so every single time you can call people out and go, "I travelled
22 hours,
22-hour round trip to go."
The original goal was to ask people whether they had gone to see the team. But since I know you guys have already done it, I needed to replace it with something sort of similar.
We knew you were going to beat us on it. We knew you were going to beat us.
All right.
It's fine.
So, how about chants? What's your favorite West Brom chant?
See, I've got quite a few I like. Obviously, like the new LA one. When we go over all the past greats, Jeff Astle and Cyril Regis, Bob Taylor. But my favourite one, and the reason I've put this is because when you're a kid and you go to watch West Brom, and if we score a goal, you all jump up and go boing boing. And that was just like the highlight of my day if I was at the Hawthorns as a kid, just jumping up and doing the boing boing. So, yeah, that's my pick.
I put the exact same one, but to think of a different one, just for something different. Gareth McCauley, he's better than JT because he is, and it's good they made a song about it.
Yep. All right, guys. I'm gonna talk about stuff that frustrates us a little bit now. Which local rivalry boils your blood the most?
I'm going to say something a tad controversial, probably within the world of supporting football. None of them really. I'm quite a relaxed football fan in general. I don't get annoyed about rivalries and things like that. If I had to pick one, probably Wolves, just because it winds up Wolves fans, and and if they're really passionate and you're kind of the match is a football match, then they get even more riled up. So I'd probably pick Wolves for the sake of it. They are our traditional rivals, but in all honesty, I don't really get affected by rivalries. I don't really think about them too hard. I'm far too focused on how we're doing as a whole thing and having a rivalry. It kind of, I don't know. I'm sure you've got some ads though. I'm sure you get annoyed by some of them.
Well, obviously where we live, we're about a 40-minute drive from West Brom. We live nearer to Coventry, so I've always hated Cov. And just because they were good at one stage and they're not anymore. But yeah, again for me, probably Wolves are the ones that are the bastards. They're the ones that I'd they're the ones I'm not keen on. Obviously you've got Villa and Blues, but they kind of keep themselves to themselves and just annoy each other. So yeah, it'd be Wolves for me.
I've got friends that are Villa fans. I've got friends that are Blues fans. I don't have any friends that are Wolves fans. That's maybe how I'd work it out as well. Don't know if there's a correlation between it, but just saying.
See, I've got a couple, but they only pipe up about the league. So I've got a couple, but yeah, no.
See, this surprises me just slightly because neither of you mentioned that stupid fellow with the floppy hair and the short socks from that team with Aston Villa. I hate Jack Grealish. That's my guy I can't stand.
Yeah, he's frustrating, certainly.
Another thing is, though, we're going to be cheering him on in the summer.
I know.
So we're going to have to kind of like him.
You guys are both doing that stressed out pose with your...
I know.
It's not good.
I know.
It's not good.
Just thinking about Jack Grealish.
We've got to cheer for him if he scores. Yeah. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's annoying. He really is an annoying player, and I do think he dives a lot, but he is a good player. When you watch him and like the way he can run past people, and
the issue is he's phenomenal.
Yeah, but yeah, I do agree. He's got silly floppy hair. Yeah.
So
Silly
He
floppy.
falls over a lot as well. He's got too heavy a hanky in his pocket or something, and just.
I think it's the diving that bothers me, but he is an incredible player. But
Yeah.
everybody dives now, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's another difficult question for you. And this was very similar. I took this straight from the best 11. So this question is, if you could pick any former West Brom player to put into the team right now, who would you pick and why?
So for me, it's quite easy, really. We need goals, so I'd bring Lukaku 100%. Just because in terms of strikers down the club and how good he was, yeah, I think that's what we need right now. Our defence is a bit more solid, isn't it, since over the last few games? We've obviously got Yukuslu doing an absolutely amazing job in the middle of the park, which has just solved our defence. And then going forward, it just seems that our strikers don't quite know where the offside line is or what the offside rule is. And can't find the back of the net. He'll find the back of the net, some of them. So, yeah, I'd bring in Lukaku personally.
Yeah.
I did a similar thing to you. I've gone on a similar tangent for you, but just gone slightly further back. Kevin Phillips, because he never missed.
No, he didn't.
He was kind of the opposite of what we currently have. Every shot he took went in, and he was doing it until he was 38. And I mean, putting him in the squad now. I mean, what is he now? Got to be something like mid to late 40s. I'm sure he could still do a business for us. So. But yeah, if we're taking prime players, prime Kevin Phillips, we're talking prime. I mean, put both of them in prime Kevin Phillips, prime Lukaku, which is arguably now.
We'd be Champions League. We'd be Champions League now.
We'd be unbeatable.
Yeah,
we'd be top of the league if we had those two from the start of the league. Frightening.
Yeah, excellent. All right, guys, we're gonna play some make believe now, because you guys are now in charge of 3 West Brom decisions. You get 1 day in charge and you can make 3 decisions. So kits, transfers, firings, hirings, what are you doing?
What are your 3 ads? I'll let you go first.
So one I've gone with, which I actually think should be implemented, and I think it could be quite good for the club, and I've heard of a few other clubs that do it. Maybe bring back an old legend, like maybe Tony Brown. I don't know if you've heard of him, Baden, but he was an old midfielder, absolute legend of the club. Yeah, and our dad absolutely loved him, and he knows so much about the club. He was there for years. So I'd maybe bring him back to give like new signings a kind of tour of the ground, give them a bit of background about the club, and say, look, the glory days, these are all of the here, and make them get like a feel for the club and for the size of the club and what we've accomplished over the years, and being one of the founding members. So doing something like that might give a player a bit more, oh, right, I'm at a really big club here, I can go and do something. I think that could be quite good. My second one was get Ivanovic off the wage bill, because I don't think he's doing anything apart from taking that paycheck every month. And then my third one was just go and invest in the squad, put some money into the team, no matter who you buy or whatever else.
All right, excellent.
Pretty solid.
Pretty self-explanatory.
I like your first one. I like your first one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 things I've gone for. I guess, I mean, I've done a lot of things based around money in the club, if I'm honest with you. Because obviously we all know that we don't necessarily have the best financial backing from our board. And if I've got 3 decisions to make about the club, number 1 is get Gouch and Lie out.
Yeah.
Is replace him. Is make sure he's gone and bring in someone. I don't want to bring in a Roman Abramovich or, the guys who own Man City or whatever, but I just want someone who's going to care about the club. And is going to help us achieve things and but at the same time, not ruin us and make us, like cheating in football and just buying our way to the title. But I'd replace him. I'd make sure all the key players had new contracts so we didn't lose them when we get relegated. So, Pereira, Johnston, Ajayi, Bartley, the people that have made a difference this season and have, been the ones that you kind of think, I like the ones I look at and I think, I really don't want us to lose them next season. And then the last thing would be just to make sure that we had enough money in a transfer budget to compete in the Premier League, basically. Because again, I know we had a bit of money, which sort of got. I mean, you know, I don't know if you saw recently, obviously, but there was a bit of the thing to do with Orsic from whatever the team was. So Greb, the guys that beat Tottenham 3-0. And, you know, it's like, why didn't we spend 9 million on him, but we spent 16 million on Carl and Grant? And it's like, I just want to have that looked at and be like, right, let's just make sure we're spending the money properly. Yeah. You know, remember like you know, when we've spoken about it, when people, the likes of Gareth McCauley came into the club for nothing and was an unbelievable player. Or, you know, Zoltan Gira came in for, I don't know, it was like $1 million. Yeah, 1.5 mil, there you go. And was an amazing player. Like, what's happened with that sort of scouting? Where's that all gone? But yeah, I'd make sure we had the right sort of money to bring in a good team.
Yeah, and we look at a club like Leicester. Leicester were not a very big club
exactly
a decade ago, and they've spent the right money. They brought in the right players. Now, granted, they got the luck of the Premier League win, and you're not going to see that likely for another. You might not see that for another 20, 30 years, but they even past that, they've spent the money smartly wisely after. You know, they.
Well, wasn't it like what didn't Riyad Mahrez cost something like 400k?
Yeah, he was nothing.
Nothing. Like
same with Vardy.
But that player, that's such a small thing.
Kante as well.
Kante was super cheap.
Johnny Evans, he was cheap.
Yeah.
In fact, we were in the mix to try and get Jamie Vardy. When he ended up signing for Leicester, and we didn't want to spend that extra little bit of money to get him. And you know us, it's the way we go.
I know.
And you know what really bummed me out actually thinking of that? Oh, go on. What's your third one?
Sorry, my third one was as well. When you go and invest in the squad, the main target is your Custody.
Yeah. He's been great.
If we could sign him, that'd be great.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I can't remember which page posted it, but when you see on Instagram the things like players you almost signed, and there's just a list of absolute worldies, all could possibly have been in West Brom tops, and you just think, where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
I think at one point,
and it's come down. It's something we've seen so many times.
As well.
So many times we've been rumored with big players before they went on to become big, and we missed out because we weren't willing to spend that money.
Yeah. That was also gone. It's gone the other way a few times, hasn't it? Like Ollie Burke was a big thing at Forest, like one of the next. He could be England player and everything else. He obviously went off to Germany, did his thing, and then we signed him as like a big thing, and then it just didn't quite work out, did it? So, but I don't think he was really given the chance, really. Anyway.
No.
So it's hard, isn't it, to try and get it right, I presume.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So did you do all three of your changes to the West Brom system?
I think we both listed all three, yeah.
All right. So another difficult question for you. What would you guys say is your favorite West Brom memory that you can think of?
Go on, Dan.
So there's a few. One would be, two of the. I mean, I can think of three, but the two kind of honourable mentions would be two victories that we witnessed. One was a 4-0 over Burnley at home, which was great to just see us actually playing really, really well. The other one was when we took your eldest, Adam, to his first game, and we went to go and play Gateshead, and we beat them 7-0. I know it was Gateshead, and it was a silly game or whatever. It was Pulis's first match in charge as well. But just going there and him getting to see West Brom have a really good game of football was kind of special. But I'd probably have to say when me and you ran on the pitch at the end of the season, Ads.
Yeah, that was a good day, wasn't it?
I can't remember. What was that when we got promoted, or we stayed in the Premier League? What was the reason that we got on the pitch?
We got promoted. Can't remember who we played, but yeah, we got promoted that day, and we decided to run on and grab some turf and celebrate with a load of people we didn't even know.
It was kind of funny because where we were, obviously you got the four stands around you, and we saw like one stand just basically just clear, and all the fans run onto the pitch, and then everyone else was doing it, and me and you just sort of looked at each other and were like, we better join in, else actually. So we just sort of got up, walked down to the pitch, climbed over, and just stood there. I was like, oh, it's all right down here, isn't it? And then grabbed a little bit of grass.
Yeah,
which is nice.
My favourite memory is there's quite a few to name. Obviously, Dan's brought up one. The first time I took my eldest son. The second one was when I took my middle child Ollie, took him to his first game. That was a real special day for me as well. The pitch invasion as well. Yeah, that was quite a good day. But in general, my favourite days are when I go with the family and we just have a big day out, because there was quite a crowd of us. When we first started going, there was probably about 12 maybe of us at one stage going. And it was just such a nice day out. We'd all go in like 3 or 4 cars. We'd all meet at the ground. We'd have our burger outside, and it'd just be like a real nice family day. So yeah, they're my fondest memories of the club.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
We still try to do that, don't we?
Yeah, we still, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
A few of them have kind of
things like.
A few of them have taken a step back, haven't they?
Rubbish. But we try to go. Obviously, we try to take our dad, our granddad, our great auntie, as we mentioned. Us now, obviously, Adam's got 2 boys that are old enough to sort of take. So hopefully, we're going to carry that tradition across 4 generations, which would be nice.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what it's all about, and that's why we love this club.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up there, boys. I want to thank you both for coming on today and thinking about some of your great West Brom memories and some of your decisions that I hope will come into some big wig has to be listening, right? So
I reckon so.
You got to hope so.
Thanks so much, guys, and we'll wrap it up there.